in the merit of EmunaIP success. We have already had a Baruch Hashem, a blessed week, and big moves going on in all different ways. Most importantly, the preparations for Purim. But we already had official announcement that we will not be in the office tomorrow. But as always, there's always availability for posting and for content, because that's what I do. So anyone want to send me anything, always welcome. So it's all about showing inspiration, especially in EmunaIP. We're all about relationship and good values. And even I'm looking at on the LinkedIn profile of our holy brother Stephen, aka Itamar Rosen, develop deep, long-lasting partnerships internationally in parallel to developing long-term friendships. What a beautiful description of his company focus. It's all about that, and that really is the key to the game. About relationships, Purim's coming up. It's all about Achad, Ba'ava, Yehudim, Ma'aseh. It's all about Shlach Manas. It's all about Matanas Yivonim, about the Achdus, Kanos Kali Yehudim, everyone together, Sudas Purim, a unity. That's the focus, the development of long-lasting partnerships globally and friendships, long-term real relationships. This is what it's about. So that's a big shout out to our managing director on making these classes, weekly classes, happen here in the office, and everyone who gets to listen to them online as well. Please share them on to if anyone's relevant. And the main point is that we're trying to learn and grow as we're developing the business, also growing spiritually as well. Let's go. So it says, laws of recitation of the Shema. So we've been learning, thank God, for a while, this simon about the Shema, a big mission statement of Klal Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, Shalom, Achad. And this is during the Shacharis, the morning service. We're at, thank God, the last two halachas. So kol hakavod to us. We finished the section of Shulchan Aruch today, hopefully, and then we're going to learn the Siva Shalom. Im hifsik me'emsa krishma. If one stopped in the middle of a recitation of the Shema, hainu min Shema Yisrael ad ala aretz. That is anywhere from the Shema until the passage ala aretz, the end of the second passage. Machmas onis shay mukhrach lahafsik, and his instruction was due to an unavoidable circumstance. The Fordham stopped his recitation. This can happen, you've got a little kid with you in shul and he suddenly run out to the toilet or something, or bathroom, whatever you call it. Kigon shahaya sarach l'seis laso sarcha. For example, you have to go and relieve himself. That would be for himself or for his child. Kigon shahayu soa babais, or there was excrement found in the room. Suddenly a baby turns up and he smells of whatever, and you can't really carry on praying at that moment. Im shaya meshach zman. If he walked for a duration of time, shayahu yacholoma kol krishma, which you could have said the whole krishma, sach nachzod tchilas krishma. He must go back to beginning krishma and begin again. It's an interesting halakha, I didn't know that. So if there's quite a long pause, I would say a few minutes, because how long does it take to say Shema? A minute or two? The whole Shema of Tul Alaretz. So at least that put to the first two paragraphs of Shema, the Ol Malchus Shemayim and the Ol Mitzvahs. That's Shema and V'afta Hashem L'kecha, Vayim Shema. Those two parts. Then you have to say the whole thing again if it took that time frame, which is quite likely. If you're dealing with a toilet break or a child, it's probably going to take that amount of time. So you have to say the whole thing. He says underneath, in the explanations here, he says the V'yama passage, whose recitation is not biblically mandated as part of the Shema, but was instituted by the sages, is not included for the purpose of this halacha. So there's a machlokas. Prima Gonim, Mishibot Zav says it's only talking about the first paragraph of Shema, which is obligated. So it's even less time, but then it's less amount to repeat as well. This verse understand which he is halachically forbidden to recite the rest of the Shema as examples. So all these different things, if there's a baby with soa, with poo-poo, or whatever you want to call it, excrement on him, then babies, if it's smelling and it's coming through the garments, then you have to do something about it. However, if it was fourth Balatan, it's not considered an interruption with regard to Shema, and you need not start again from the beginning. Okay, good. So you have to be careful. Just keep an eye that when we're saying Shema, we have to be focused. This is what we're talking about with Shalom bias as well. I have a podcast, The Relationship Flow, which I'm happy to share for anyone. You can put it in the link as well below when I post this. The Relationship Flow, I talk about how important it is really to give that full attention to your soulmate. That will accomplish 1,000,000 times more. One of my rabbis, he was very busy learning, davening, serving Hashem, and yet he still had Shalom bias. How did he manage it? and he was busy helping thousands of people as well. How did he have time for his wife? So when he was with his wife, he was with his wife. There's no phones. There's no other existence. It's like just like his learning is.
It can be a shorter time, but it's uninterrupted time.
And it's quality, and it accomplishes way more than the 5 hours of arguing about the lack of quality. Yeah. Okay, so that's a big Indian of Shalom Bayis and being more effective with time, and he's learning even with the Shema. Hashem wants us to focus, finish the thing. Don't be interrupted. If one recite Kriya Shema Niknas LeBeis Knesset and then enter the synagogue, this is the last halakha we're going to learn on today. Matzah Siba Shekorin Kriya Shema, and found the congregation reciting the Kriya Shema. So every time you walk into a shul and you hear them saying Kriya Shema, you should say Shema with them, and this means the first pasuk, I think. So it does not appear. So the problem is, if you didn't do it, it looks like you don't want to take on the Umok Shemaim, the heavenly, or the yoke of sovereignty of heaven. I don't know these translations. Along with his fellows, and he receives reward from heaven for the repetition as one recites from the Torah. So you get a mitzvah as well, reading from the Torah. Every time you read from Torah, you get a mitzvah. Who had in the same halakha. Him who b'beis knesset, if he was in a synagogue, omer divrei tanchunim, or pasukim, beside him private prayers or verses from the Torah, b'mokim sh'rashai lahafsek, a point which is prayers which permit to interrupt. Im omer b'mokim she'einu rashai, we learned this before. So if he's in a place where he can interrupt and say the Shema in a way that he's with the chevra, even though he's in the middle of davening himself, but he's not in a place which is a problem to pause and say the Shema, then he should also do it in those places as well. Because once again, it's a very important moment of unification happening. The Shema is a time where we're joining together. Achad, we're joining one with everyone, with all the neshamas. So we should never really separate ourselves from that. It's also, by the way, if you're walking to shul and saying Aleinu, you should at least say the first part with them. Right. It's another example. Ashrei. There's certain prayers, but Shema I think is even more strict because it's like our mission statement, and it's all about oneness. And Yisrael listen. And it's about Omok Shema. So yeah, you should say it with them. Im hu adayin lo kvar Kriya Shema. What happened if you didn't say Kriya Shema yet? You just walked in from a busy morning with the kids, you know what I'm saying? And you just suddenly walked in and already in Shema. Koire gam kein im asibur. You should say with the sibur. And you should have in mind not to yotze your obligation. It's better for you to do it with the brachas. I'm not so sure about that halakha personally. I'll tell you my svara in a minute. But I mean, if you do what the halakha says here, you're doing the right thing. I just have another way of thinking about it, which was mentioned in a minute. Like one is sitting on his other prayers at congregation and reciting, he gone to Tehillah the David Aleinu Kadome, such Tehillah. Hey, I just said that. See, look at that. But Filu Piyutim, even Piyutim Omer Mayim. You should recite those prayers together with them. See, the two examples I chose, Aleinu and Ashrei, you should say with them. So look, I haven't learned these halakhas for years, and thank God I was Kavanti. Hashem blessed me with good memory. I'm in the right flow. However, if he did not yet recite Birkas of Torah, the blessing of the Torah should only recite only the first verse of the Shema. So that's a problem. Birkas of Torah, don't say the Shema. Yeah, just say the first verse. The saying is that the obligation recite.
First verse or the whole first paragraph?
No, just the first Shema. Just Shema Yisrael L'Kamesh Achad. First pasuk. Yeah, because otherwise it's saying Pesukim Torah without Birkas of Torah. But you shouldn't show your depth from the Sibor, so you should say Shema Yisrael. Okay, the Seder to the obligation. By the way, I have to tell you, joining Shirat David and being around Rav Shlomo Katz, we'll get to his Torah in a minute. Because I wanted to get a little summary, Itamar, because he wasn't able to make it because he was doing EmunaIP business today. Baruch Hashem made a good meeting, and we're going to post it in a minute. So with Huda and Bruce, Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Bruce. The idea that we have the Shema and we're making that yichud is we're trying to tune in, and I've realized that being in Shadovit, because there's very on time, punctual Masuda, Rav Shlomo was very like Gevurdik in terms of halacha and doing the right thing, and generally the frat people they're not naughty like I'm naturally naughty. Maybe me and Itma have a little bit in common in that sense, a little bit, whereas most of the people in a frat are more like straight shooters, let's say. So it gives us an opportunity, and it's been a good influence on me being here. because everything's bizman and they don't talk and they're not lashon haradik and they've got good values. Everyone's straight. No one's trying to rip anyone off. It's a focused place. So this kind of thing, it brings you to a higher understanding of what Shema is about, because you're in a place where they're honoring Hashem in that focused way, and that's really important. Just to give my svara, I find that when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you have an issue with Zman Kriya Shema, so it's very important to say the Zman Kriya Shema, not to miss it. So what I would do is straight away say Birkas Torah in many situations and say Shema. So if you walk into a shul and you're still saying Birkas Torah and suddenly they're saying Shema, have in mind to be Yotzi the mitzvah, because this might be the Shema you're being Yotzi the mitzvah in.
You say the Birkas Torah.
Yeah.
When you come downstairs,
you might have your tefillin on. You might have your tefillin on nothing, but you've done the mitzvah now. If you see that time's not going to work out because of all the different hustles, because the problem is, say you're a good guy, you want to go to Dam Shut every day, but you've got like a bunch of kids and you got to do stuff, and you end up car trip to car trip, what's the name they call it when you're driving kids to school? Carpool, one thing to the next. And by that point, you miss 8:45 or whatever the Zman is, and now you're like miss Krishma, Deraisa, easy mitzvah. So better just say Birkas Torah and just zog it out. You might not have put tefillin on yet, but so what? You did the mitzvah Kriya Shema Deraisa.
It's like what you said, which is great advice, Kriya Shema Lamita.
Yeah.
If you find yourself always missing it because you're tired.
My thing is about, we're in a generation where we're highly distracted and we've got a lot to do. We don't, back in the day, they didn't have carpools, yeah? They had wagons and horses. Yeah, it was a different world. So we have to be real with the fast pace we're in. So my thing is, do the mitzvah when you can have the opportunity. Do it now. Don't wait. Because generally the YITZCHAK is waiting there to make you forget about it. So do it now and get it done and do the mitzvah, and you've got the mitzvah in your bank account, your ruchnius bank account, you feel good, you feel less pressured, your midas, you'll be more calm. Because you know you've done your chiyuv. Okay, but it's better to daven earlier, but it's not a chiyuv deraisa to daven earlier. Yeah? So that's how I try and measure Yiddishkeit about, it's called kadima. You have to learn how to prioritize. And in Yiddishkeit it's called kadima, in halacha it's called kadima. It's a very important principle in psak halacha. Now, I'm not a rabbi, I'm not posek, but that's my opinion. If someone else out there disagrees with it, there definitely is different opinions. So you can go according to those opinions. But that's my personal, how I go in this Indian. So if I walked into the shul and I just said Birkas Torah, I'd be mechavein to be yotzi mitzvah Deraisa of Kriya Shema. And then I asked once, a big Rav once this, and he said it's a beautiful svara. I never got a 100% answer back. I have to ask another Rav another time who could really understand the sugya, but I asked a big Rav. And I said, I have a concept called Kriya Shema Lemafreya. It's a little bit interesting tradition svara. You say the Kriya Shema Lemafreya, you say it later on with Kavanah, with the talis, with the tefillin, in a minyan, all the ways, but it's after the Zman already. Can that elevate your original one when you said it more, just in case you're going to miss it, kind of one? So you actually end up with a higher level Kriya Shema. Does it join up to the original time-bound one? And then you get a heilige Kriya Shema. So you not only you did it in the fullest way in a later time, but you joined it to the one which was. And that's a spiritual zach. That's not a concept, svara, you know. And the guy I said it to, his Rav Simai Zilberberg's son-in-law, is a big tzaddik, and he's a grandson of Rav Dessler, and he said it's a beautiful svara. So I didn't, and no one said it's nonsense. So maybe I need to ask a big post like Rav Asher Weiss or something. But you know, part of me sometimes when I feel like I've connected to something which I connect to, a visionist once said this to me: "Don't take this and spread this." But he said, I don't ask everything to my Rebbe. Some things, I feel like this is my Das Torah. I connect to it. Yeah. I don't want to now find someone who's going to undermine it, who doesn't get me, or I'm connected to something special on this, and it's not like just some wacky concept. There is such an idea of doing a mitzvah merafeh. It's not like I just made it up. It's anyway.
It's a big merit to get to that. Where you feel something that strongly to
it's ruchnius hashkafas and avodas Hashem. I try not. These are things I never share like that. This is a psak. This is not a psak. This is not other people should do this. It's just an idea that can give you some chizuk, and it works for me. When I don't use it that much anymore because I'm always davening b'zman, being in shirt toveh. That's what I'm saying. We're in a place where it doesn't happen. But if I make all the davenings every day, so I shouldn't take it for granted because life can happen where you don't make it.
And you don't drive.
I don't drive, but I walk quick enough.
Everyone else who has cars.
I have a wife sometimes who helps me, and often, big shout out to Shirat David community. They pick me up on the way a lot of the times. Almost every day, someone finds me on the middle of the road.
Speak to different people.
Yeah, this morning it was Michal. The other day it was you. The other day it was the old Yid Notan, and the other day it was, every day someone else. It's been that Binyamin guy. That was one of the first times we had a proper conversation in the merit of that Binyamin who you're going to for Purim. Like Hashem works it out. Baruch Hashem, they're kind people that they notice. Now let's learn the Nesivos of Shalom. As we get to Nesivos of Shalom, we're learning the Parshas Vayikra, and we're going to make this quick because time's really flying, and we just said a lot of Torah. But we finished the section of Shulchan Aruch, so we went a bit over time. The idea Rav Shlomo said, and we'll say this in 1 minute, please note it. The idea, he said that Purim is not something just to do because it's a mitzvah like Yom Kippur. It's a very heavy time. It's Eitz Das Tov V'Ra. We're fixing up all the things we've done wrong. We have to try to get to a level, according to Rav Shlomo Kalibach, that we tune into YITZCHAK. What's YITZCHAK? Where our Yiddishkeit becomes part of us. Where our Yiddishkeit is alive. Where our Yiddishkeit is natural, is real with us. So when we're serving Hashem, we're holy, it's because we become like that. It's not because we're just doing it because we have to, because our wife wants us to be from, or it's good for the community we're in, or we have to go beyond that level and really dig deep into what Purim's about and reach a real level of Adliyada, a real level of why we're drinking, to escape this sort of prison of like thinking about other people's opinions or what what a limited level.
Why Purim more than other?
So Purim has a power to tap us into the YITZCHAK, to give us, because it gets us out of our das, our limited das. Yeah, we were usually in a level of das where we're doing what we're supposed to do, but the problem is it's only our mind forcing us. We're going to learn this in a second in the Nesivos Shalom. We're forcing ourselves to do things. We have to get to a level where we're not forcing ourselves, but we're actually wanting, and it's natural. We want to daven, we want to say Shema, we want to have a Sudas Purim and drink the wine to praise Hashem. We want to hear the Megillah and the Nisim.
We can't function any other way. This is what we want so much.
We become alive with Hashem's will in our heart and mind.
It's not a burden.
It's not a burden. It's not simcha, and it's adliyada. It's a time we're out beyond our das.
Take us out of the das, the normal way.
Yeah.
There's no other answer that does it.
Exactly. Purim takes us out of that in a way no other. And even though people want to have their schedules, and we've been talking about it, but the best way to be is just flow. Zorim. Let Hashem run the show. He knows much better than us. He'll bring Mashiach. He's going to bring us Panasa. He's going to help our business be successful. Yeah. We have to do everything we can initially to make it the best Purim we can. But now we're in Purim, coming up in a few days. Now just daven to Hashem and connect to Him and allow Him the true reality of that He's the boss and that He's making miracles for us, etc. Okay, so he says here, so it connects into the Nesivos Shalom. We learned a beautiful concept in the beginning of Vayikra. Now we're in the third paragraph that in the Nesivos Shalom, that you have to bring the korban in order to what? To come to His will. So in Chazar, Rosh Hashanah, it says in Shas that you have to force yourself until what? Until I want. Rotza'ani. It's a concept in Chassidus. They take it out of the context of the Gemara. What's happening there? A guy doesn't want to make a divorce, God forbid, for his wife. So what happens? The Beis Din come beat him up. Yeah? To what? Rotza'ani. To reveals the inner. Why is it 40 minus 1? Why is it only 39 makkahs? To leave that little room for the Rotza'ani. For the little room, you beat him up enough till you get, like that's what they did in MASHA with the Hamasniks, the ones they captured. They beat them up enough until they'll tell them everything. Yeah, they really did. I mean, I know I shouldn't put this publicly, but that's the Shabbat. They have to do that. It's part of they don't kill them, but they have to get out the information from them because it's life or death. It's a war. Yeah, so they have permission from the government. I don't know what public opinion thinks about it. I don't really care, but they have permission to get the Rotza'ani out of these Machshamamniks. So this guy doesn't want to divorce his wife, so the Beis Din back in the day when they had power were allowed to force him to a point where he says, I want to give this divorce. God forbid. Now, in the case of Ratzon Hashem, I want to do Ratzon Hashem, we have to force ourselves. We don't have to beat ourselves up, but we have to, however we get ourselves into that state of being willing to do what Hashem wants. Like, I was telling you the story with my wife. I had to force myself to do that thing. I'm not going to say it now publicly, but it paid off big time. And it was much better than me doing something else. Sometimes you just have to do the right thing. Why is it connecting this to the korbanos more than all the other mitzvahs that you have to sort of force upon us, for us to then say Ratzani, that I want to do this. So the people who mafarish the Torah, they say on this pasuk, Adam Yakriv Mekem, the person has to bring from him the korban to Hashem. Chen midrash tanchuma shemekasher lama ama adam lo ama ish ki yakriv. So there's a question why when it says about the person, why does he have to bring this korban? Im shama komis nizka b'Torah loshen adam mamatin akum akobonis nedava hari mekablem gam mina akum. Od amdu aloshen apasuk adam ki yakriv mekem. She'la lama adam mekem ki yakriv gam mitzchil apasuk aloshen yochid. Adam ki yakriv mekem v'sayim loshen rabim t'kivetz kovanachem. So I didn't get that answer completely, but I'm going to go ahead and it's going to say in Shekmot Kosa Ramban al perish ishavech nach Hashem. We mentioned this before. We have to make a nachzor to Hashem. In the previous time we learned, Be'inyan akobonas now ki ba'avo shemasa b'nei adam shemram machshava v'di b'masa. We have to do everything with all our thoughts, mind, speech, and action. That Hashem's commanded us ki kasher chat v'yaveh karbon v'yisamach yadav alav keneged amasa v'yizvade b'piv keneged adibor v'saraf be'esh akarev hakol Hashem kliya machshava taiva. So we have three ways we bring it alive. We do a smicha on the korban. We put our hands on the korban. And we do a vidui, piv, keneged the dibor, and we burn it. And all these aspects are helping us with the machshava diba masa. Hakrir keneged yadav raglav sha'adam, and the crime we're using both our hands and our feet of the person to do this mitzvah. Rizar kadam on mizbeh keneged dam of nafsha. We're giving up of our dam of our nefesh. So the idea, all the different parts, the legs, the feet of the animal connected to our feet and hands where we did use them wrongly, the blood of the animals connected to our blood that we used wrongly. We're using all the different parts of a human being in this aspect of offering up korbanos. So that we have to think about all these things. So all this is basically telling us that it's instead of us being the korban, it's the korban, it's the animal instead of us. And then we're experiencing this korban, and it's purifying us, mechaper on us, and it's the dam of the korban instead of our dam. It's the dam of the korban instead of tachas nefesh, instead of our nefesh. And the same too with the limbs of the korban and the heads of the korban, everything. It's all getting burned up and offered without it have to be us. Okay. And the main thing is Hashem's wanting in this avoda is the leiv. And that's the whole idea of the Ikka Korban. It's the most asma legamrei l'Hashem Yisbarach. And the main nakuda is we're willing to give ourselves everything up to Hashem Yisbarach. So, and that's when the idea that we get to that concept of forcing ourselves, we come to this rotzani. I want this. So the Korban reveals the truth inside of us that we want this more than other things. Because the whole thing's being shechted and burnt up, just like us. So we're like, instead of beating ourselves up, the korban is in place of that, and all that process that goes on with the korban reveals the inner essence of a Jew is Ratzani, that I want to do Ratzon Hashem. So I just want to say, and I have to end off because I have to get to my next thing, that I do feel that one in EmunaIP, there's a lot of Ratzani, that we all of us are at a point where we want to do this. It's not being forced. It's not like heavy. And everyone's getting to the point where they want to be part of the work. That was like a little bit of adjustment we were just going through with the website. Next stage, we want to develop it with everyone involved, and we want to get into that point, Ratzani. And the main point is to bring us to that elevated level where we want to do what we're involved in, and it will give us much more success. And so to Purim comes Purim, and the idea is we don't have to now force ourselves. We're at a point with the Adliyada, that we're in a state of Rotzani, that I just want to be Davik to the Rotzan Hashem. I want to be connected to the Kesa of Malchus, of Esther and Mordechai, and the Yeshuas that come from Purim, and the Rotzan Hashem of Purim, and the Simcha of Purim, and all the mitzvahs. That by the end of it, by the time we're at that Suda, we've done so much. We're just at a state of Rotzani. I just want to do whatever you want, Hashem.
Beautiful.
And that will get us to that high level that Rav Shlomo was talking about today. And yeah, and we won't even have to overthink it. We'll just be it. And that's after Vayikra, Zocha, all the Achanas. We're going to be at that Purim Suda saying L'chaim Tovim Shalom. Amen.